My name is Amandine. I was part of the class of 2022 to 2023. I'm currently working at Sanofi as a lead advanced analytics and optimization. So agenda, pretty classic. I'm going to go over academic and professional background, then going over why I chose the master's at Centrale, and then just wanted to cover a few projects that I have worked on or am currently working on at Sanofi. For those who don't know Sanofi, it's a French pharmaceutical company. Maybe you could have used one of these two treatments. They're our most known products, but we also have a very wide range. Starting off with academic and professional background. So I was born in France, but grew up in Boston, Massachusetts, which is where I did my baccalaureate in 2017. After that, I decided to continue my studies in North America. So I did a Bachelor's of Science in Mathematics and Statistics at McGill University in Canada. And so with this program, in the later years, I did some introduction classes to more applied statistics, which included machine learning and data science. So that kind of got me introduction to the field. And so after that, I wanted to test out what data science was like in the real world. So I went looking for an internship. So I did a 6-month internship as a data science intern at Libéo. Libéo is a French startup in the fintech sector. And that was a really cool experience because the team was pretty small for data science, given that it was a startup. So we really did projects end to end and were given kind of a lot of liberty on those topics, which was really interesting. And so after that, I kind of wanted to explore more domains in AI. So I went looking for the master's. So that was in 2022 to 2023. And then as part of the master's, I did a 6-month internship at Sanofi starting May 2023. And after 6 months, they offered me to stay. So I stayed on full time as a junior data scientist. And then most recently in February, I switched roles within the company and started as lead in advanced analytics. So this new role is definitely more business facing, which was kind of what I was looking for, but still ties in on technical projects that I was working on as a data scientist. So now, why this master's? So I think the first thing that drew me to it was the program and how it was structured. I thought that it was really interesting that we could get a solid knowledge in the fundamentals of AI and then kind of pick and choose what we were most interested in with the elective courses. And that kind of fits into the second point, which is that it's very interdisciplinary. I had a personal interest in science, but also medicine and healthcare. And I think this program gave me a direct path to that vision, notably with the more explainable courses and medical imaging courses. I think the third one is probably a big one for everyone. There's the academic excellence that comes with going to Centrale Supélec. Obviously, it's an internationally known school, which offers high-quality teaching and access to experts in the field of AI, which is a real privilege. Another big one for me was the international aspect. Coming from a more international background, I definitely wanted to continue working and studying in English and working with people of different cultures and backgrounds. I think that's where I thrive the best and learn the most. So that was one of my key points for this program. And the last one I think ties in with the program is structured, but the research project also I felt was really interesting along with the internship to allow us to apply all the fundamentals in real world use cases. So yeah, this was just to show the elective courses that I went for, kind of a range of different types of AI, and it allowed me to see what was kind of like the hot topics in AI currently, but also make me understand that I was more interested in the machine learning, ensemble learning, explainable AI methods. So I think you'll see in the following slides that's kind of what I went for in terms of topics. So first project that I worked on at Sanofi is called Marketing Mix Modeling, also known as MMX. Some of you may know it, most of you may not. It's pretty niche, but in the business industry, it's used by a lot of companies. Essentially what it does is it'll quantify incremental impact of various marketing tactics onto your sales. So essentially it'll help you understand how your marketing tactics are performing, where they're bringing in the most sales, sometimes optimize your spend, optimize your budgets. So it's kind of key for most companies. In terms of technical, it leverages Bayesian regression and then mixed integer programming for the optimization piece. So kind of how it works, the model will take as inputs different marketing activities for your different tactics. So, and that can be at a monthly or weekly level. So essentially, how many people saw your ad on TV, or how many people clicked on a link on a website. And the model takes that as input, as well as priors, which are given under the form of statistical distribution to input business information. And that's where the Bayesian regression part is really interesting compared to a regular regression. And so the model takes everything into input, and it's going to identify the proportion of sales that are coming from each tactic, as well as those that are assigned to your baseline. So your baseline are kind of the sales that would have happened even if you didn't do any marketing. So it's kind of like the natural growth or natural existence of your brand. And so in terms of output, like I said, it's going to provide a percentage contribution. So this is how much of your sales are coming from X or Y tactic. And it's also going to allow you to determine your ROI, so return on investment. So which tactics are performing the best, what is the best value for your money, etc. And as output, you also get what we call response curves, which are here. They're going to compare your spend to your sales. So that's going to allow you to see, if I move on my axis and change my spend, how is that going to actually impact my sales as a projection? And then all these outputs are put into the optimization piece. So it's going to take the set of all your response curve for all your marketing tactics, and an objective for your scenario, and a set of constraints. And then it's going to move along the curves and basically tell you where you should be spending for each tactic in order to best answer your ask. So it's very used, and some of the key questions that you can have are understanding which tactics have the highest returns. If you wanted to optimize your spend without losing too much profit, what would you do? And also it can play a role in budgeting season. So for example, if you are to invest X amount in your total budget, where should you put it? Same thing, if you reduce Y from your budget, where's the best place to take it from? So as you can hopefully understand, it can have a lot of interest for big companies. So in key numbers, this is for 2024 for Sanofi, we optimized over 1 billion euros of marketing spend over 20 countries and 30 brands. So the scope is quite big, knowing that you run a model for each brand and each country. So yeah, pretty used, and can come back in a lot of companies. Another project that I worked on, different topic, is a model to predict the patient starts for specific treatments. So the context is that obviously, like a lot of markets, the pharmaceutical market is very crowded. There's a lot of competitors for the same treatments and constant innovation. So the goal was to identify patients that were likely to start our treatments or were good candidates. So the objective was to build a predictive model based on the history of treatments of patients and identify which ones were likely to start our treatments. From a technical standpoint, there was a lot of data transformation, since our data sometimes was poor quality, and there's obviously more patients that are likely to not start a treatment rather than start it. So we played a lot with oversampling, undersampling, etc. For the model, we went for an ensemble learning model. XGBoost might not be a big surprise. And I think the main quality of using these models were the explainability, definitely not black box models, and allow us to derive a lot of information that it can be key for business stakeholders. So like feature importance, SHAP values, that was really illustrative for business folks, and allowed them to gain trust in the model. So yeah, just a few key about the models. So in terms of input data, we had the history of treatments, history of medical appointments, age, gender, geographical location, etc. And we could derive metrics such as the number of time a person used the treatment, the date that they initially started, how the latest time they used it, and the duration of the treatment. And so combining all these elements, we're able to create a profile for patients and understand what is driving them to a specific treatment. And so, yeah, the picture on the slide is I had to cut out some of it for confidential reason, but it shows you the feature importance that was used. So it shows that some features were definitely driving the decision of people going to a specific treatment. And that was also really useful to present to the business stakeholders, because it was visual, allowed them to understand how the model was working. And that definitely helps us gain trust from them. So that's it. Thank you for your attention, and let me know.